The CEO of YouTube, Neil Mohan, dropped some big predictions for 2025, and a lot of these were unexpected. So this year, more people are watching YouTube on the TV screen compared to watching on desktop or mobile. And this is actually not the first year this happened. When I think about television, I would think either Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu or something. I would think that those are the companies that would be on top.
Why do you think that is? I have a feeling it's because YouTube, unlike those other ones, has a freemium version. So you don't need to pay for anything to watch on TV. I've been watching a lot of podcasts on TV. So just longer format stuff is better viewing experience.
I was going to say podcast too. Sometimes we leave podcasts on the screen. And my wife also likes to put tiny desk concerts on the big screen while we're like cleaning the house or when we're cooking dinner.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say, I totally forgot about like the music sets or like people who fly out and just do like these epic. What's that one channel?
Circle.
Circle,
That's
where they
so
like
good.
fly out like these DJs
Drone
and put them
shots.
on like the Alps and stuff.
So they have a lot of plans to roll out features that will just enhance this experience. So for example, there's this new watch with where creators can actually give live commentary or share their opinions and hot takes with their viewers while they're watching a big event. Say like if they were to watch the Super Bowl or something like that. I would say that if you were starting out, like all you would need is your phone as a camera. But as you start to level up, think about, how do you actually create a better experience for television? That might mean upping the background in your shot. That might mean getting a more crisp microphone or learning how to edit your audio better. Lighting is going to be huge for that.
Yeah, and I guess like on the other end of it, instead of just production, it's also taking a bit more time into telling good stories. Because if you think about TV shows, movies that are originally or made for television, there's a lot of focus on a good story because people want to watch movies for a story. Oh, by the way, you're tuned into the Mike and Matty show where we break down the latest news in the creator economy and AI to help you grow your creator business.
Number two is that YouTube will remain the epicenter of culture. This past year really demonstrated to the world that people are just enjoying big events and big moments on YouTube. So, for example, the Olympics. I think I spent the entirety of the Olympics on YouTube. US elections, like I watched those huge Joe Rogan podcasts of the candidates. All the interviews of the candidates I watched on YouTube, and all the live followings were on YouTube.
I think it doesn't matter like what side of the political sphere you fall on, at least here in the US, like it's undeniable that YouTube had a huge impact on voter persuasion, right? Like I think I were watching some of those interviews, like you said, I think like the JD Vance one, even like a Kamala Harris one. And if you scroll down to the comments of those videos, everyone is just like so excited. It's like, wow, I finally get to see what this person actually is like. Because the media on TV just skews perception so much and they like chop up all these bits. But when you have like a creator who is just willing to put like raw, unfiltered content out there, people actually do connect with that. And so it did have a huge impact on the way that election panned out, I think.
Yeah, it's really strange because it's platforms like YouTube or platforms like even like Reddit or X, where it feels like it's just a bunch of people's opinions and comments, but that's not kind of where people go to look for the source of truth. Because nowadays we see like big media companies and mainstream media, they heavily edit things down to create their own narrative. And so people go to YouTube to see the raw footage of interviews and to see their celebrities, for good or for bad, see their celebrities in their actual light and how they speak and everything. Like we're following, like you said, Joe Rogan, following like recently Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Like so much is happening and people go to YouTube to look for those videos. This is also huge. YouTube is now the most frequently used service for listening to podcasts in the US. And I would have thought it would be Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but it's YouTube. Number three, YouTubers are becoming the startups of Hollywood. So what they're suggesting here is that the lines between a content creator and Hollywood are kind of blurring. And YouTube is now going all in on helping creators monetize. So for example, last year, we saw a 40% increase in channel memberships. And I remember when we're getting on calls with our YouTube liaison, they were trying to get us to get on channel memberships and use all the community features and stuff like that. So they're making a big push and we see the fruits of that effort there. Also, we're seeing that more than 50% of channels are earning money outside of AdSense. So not only are creators coming onto the platform and making money, but they're becoming more business minded and they're trying to find ways to grow their business with YouTube.
If they really want to serve, I guess, a business owner more, I am really excited for when and if they will ever allow direct messaging and sharing of emails. In theory, it should be so easy, right? Because aren't they part of Google? And you have to have a Gmail account to make a YouTube channel
Mhm.
or even to watch YouTube. Wouldn't you be able to market via email to your subscribers if they opted in for it? And I feel like that would kill it for creators who actually wanted to take this full time.
Yeah, agreed. And in the last couple of weeks, YouTube released the community section. So before, the community section was where you can leave posts, but now they changed that to be called YouTube posts. And then they brought on a new community section. So what you can do is you can have your viewers leave like a post. It's not a DM, but they can interact with each other. But yeah,
Right. So it's kind of like a forum
yeah,
almost.
it's like a forum.
It's like a Reddit community.
So on to number 4, YouTube is investing in AI to enhance content creation. We all saw this coming. This is the year of AI explosion. I think the really interesting thing here is that they're going to help with video audio dubbing. So basically, they're starting with members of the YouTube Partner Program, but it allows viewers to watch the video in different languages, often in their native language. As we know, people from all over the world watch our channel, and we've gotten a lot of comments for people asking for different languages. And I remember, like, in the last 3 or so years, we were getting bombarded with all these freelancers offering to translate our videos. So YouTube is about to crush all of that and do it with AI, like, so fast. Super interesting here is that over 40% of total watch time comes from viewers choosing to listen in a dubbed language. So,
That's very interesting.
I mean, I feel kind of spoiled because I watch videos only in English, but all my videos are native English.
That's probably just because English is the most widely used
Yeah.
language in the world, and I assume also on YouTube. And so having that as an option is pretty interesting. Doesn't YouTube already have the feature where you can transcribe in a different language? So you can at least like watch with subtitles in a different language, but you're talking about actual dubbing of the audio,
Dubbing,
right?
yeah.
Like lip syncing, me talking to camera, but it's coming out in like Japanese or something.
Yeah, and it's going to be done very fast. So another thing that's interesting is that they're increasing the educational experience on YouTube. So I think it was last week where they started releasing, I think only to premium members, where you can actually have a conversation with YouTube's AI about the video. So like I was watching a video about like I was watching a Gordon Ramsay video, and I would ask it like, what were the ingredients and what was the recipe that they used here, which is huge for
Yeah.
educational creators.
Yeah, I think I've seen that feature now. It's like right underneath the description. There's like an Ask AI, or it has the classic AI logo, like the diamond or the sparkle thing.
Mm.
But it's there. It's showing up in mine too. Maybe it's because we have premium,
It's
but
a Gemini,
I have seen
probably.
that as well.
It's a Gemini's
Yeah,
AI because
exactly. Oh, that's the
Google
sparkle.
owns
It's
YouTube.
Gemini.
And this is super interesting too. They're offering creators a way to produce courses. Plus, YouTube's community features are going to just, integrate and allow us to build community courses right on the platform itself. So, look out School, look out Circle, look out Mighty. Like, this could be potentially a big change. And I do remember seeing an older study where it said that millennials and Gen Z spend like over 2 or 3 hours per day on YouTube for learning. So yeah, coming from us who have been on YouTube for 5, 6 years now, I would say that 2025 is probably the best time I've seen so far to start a YouTube channel.
But if you want to start thinking about YouTube more from a business perspective, the most important outcome you want for your content is to be able to capture someone's attention. And the best way to capture attention is, psychologically speaking, to tell stories, right? That's why stories get passed down from generations. We still know stories from thousands of years ago. And that's the same thing on YouTube, right? If you go back 10 years, 15 years, even on YouTube, like the early days, the YouTube videos that have resonated and stayed with us are the ones that have come from creators with good stories. And so that's going to be true today. It's going to be true next week. It's going to be true, like, in 2077, when Cyberpunk actually takes over.
It's going to be
People are going to know the stories in the legends that have come from YouTube. And so start telling better stories.
Yeah, it's going to be true as long as human beings exist, because storytelling
Hmm.
is like how the brain remembers things. Like storytelling
Hmm.
has like such an order. It just makes it easy for people to remember. Yeah, so do you want to share a few of these quick storytelling techniques here?
Yeah, sure. So, probably the most important one is to define your ending first. If you've ever listened to someone tell a story and you got bored any point in it, or you weren't really sure where that story is going, that is a clear sign that the storyteller doesn't actually know what the point of the story is. And so it's kind of backwards, but like to plan out a good story, you want to know where it actually ends. Like what is the payoff? What is the peak emotional high that you want someone to feel by listening to your story, and then work backwards from that point and only tell the irrelevant details up to that point. This is something I actually got from Matthew Dix, his book Storyworthy. Amazing read to anyone who wants to improve their storytelling skills.
Yeah, I love that. So I've also heard a lot of comedians say this too. Is like they always think of the punchline or the climax of their joke, and then they work backwards from that. Because what they say is that you want to take people on an emotional roller coaster, and to make the joke really land hard, you want them to kind of be like at almost a paradoxical emotion, so that when it flips, the contrast is so big that people will laugh. And same with what Matthew Dix said in Storyworthy is like, if you're telling a story that is really heartfelt, then you want them to be almost laughing before you hit them with the heartfelt. It's like a huge contrast, and it makes people tear up more.
Um, but just understanding that one principle will make you a better storyteller. And if you want to see the rest of them and how they actually work, we'll leave a link below for you to check it out. But obviously, having a good story is only amplified if you have a good visual way to show it, right? And that actually leads us really nicely into this next huge headline that kind of blew my mind, and it comes from Adobe. So, Adobe Firefly just announced a commercially safe AI video generator. Now, why is this a big deal? Because we've had video generators before. The classic one that comes to my mind is the Will Smith eating spaghetti one.
Yeah.
But what's new about Firefly?
So I think the controversy has always been like, is this AI generated content safe for me to use? Like, is my content going to get flagged? Is it going to get removed from the platform? Am I going to get banned for using AI? But Adobe
Mhm.
is positioning Firefly to be one of the first, if not the first, commercially safe video generator. So they're actually giving users a lot of cool tools here. You can generate 1080p video, you can do text to images, and you have control over motion graphics and camera control. So it's going to look like professional B-roll. I think the most important thing here is that their stuff is trained on Adobe stock, which is stuff that they already license, and it's trained on the public domain. Okay, sure. But they say they're never going to train on user generated content. So whatever you
Hmm.
create on Firefly is going to be protected as yours.
Why don't you go ahead and show us some of the outputs? I think that'd be much more interesting.
This is a beautiful landscape shot. It looks very realistic, but AI generated. See here, they got some fire. What is this?
Green screen smoke.
So yeah, you can put smoke basically on anything that you want.
Wow,
I
it
can't
looks pretty
even,
real.
yeah, I can't even tell this is real or AI. The grass are all like blowing in the same direction too, which is just so realistic. This is crazy. I don't know if this is like a realistic shot that a human being can actually get, but it's crazy.
I was gonna say, yeah, I want to see like what kind of animation,
Mm,
and you can kind of see here in the AI that's a little bit messed up. Look at the tires like as they go over the
mm,
noodles.
yeah,
It's not perfect yet, but it's definitely a lot better than it ever has been.
yeah. I mean, it still delivers the message that you're trying to get across
No anime examples yet, so I guess all the Japanese anime studios are still safe for
for
now, but
now.
I'm sure
I mean,
it's coming
well,
for
look at
them.
this though.
It's
You
coming.
can give it images and it can generate from it.
I feel like we've been waiting for this day because we've always had this idea and vision for Koei to build like a cyberpunk anime like vibe, but hiring artists and design teams has historically just it's so expensive. But this really can change it. I think it's a pretty smart move from Adobe, and it definitely makes me think when and if we should migrate or try out Adobe, because they have such a creative suite of tools that is really good for a creator, like Photoshop, Premiere Pro, which almost all the video editors I work with now use.
If you're a creator or entrepreneur like us, then we invite you to join our free community where we're all using AI to grow our businesses together. See you next time.